Welcome to the Agent Survival Guide podcast, Friday 5, which is either our weekly recap of what happened this week that agents should know about, or in the case of this week, 5 items focusing on a particular theme. I'm your host, Sarah Ruppel, and this week we are talking about dealing with burnout, getting off the struggle bus, or to put it more eloquently, 5 ways to survive AEP and OEP 2026, even when everything feels like a dumpster on fire floating down the river with a smile on our face to mask the reality. It has been a tough enrollment season so far with all the changes and disruption going on. I know that it can feel like a lot, and I certainly do not want to sugarcoat that. What I do want to do is talk about some solutions to help you take a break from the burnout, refresh, and make sure you're taking care of yourself amidst all the commotion. So let's start with that last one, making sure you take care of yourself. And in true ASG podcast fashion, we're going to turn to an app because we love technology. But we also love gamifying tasks because it adds a layer of fun and rewards you for doing things that you know you should be doing anyway, but sometimes we don't do them because we are too busy. That is where the Finch self-care pet app can help. The app is designed to gamify self-care and getting stuff done across a range of categories like self-kindness, calm, gratitude, productivity, and more. Every user gets a little animal called a burb to take care of. It looks like a little bird. And as you cross off your to-do lists and keep checking back in, your burb grows and learns. It hatches micropets of its own. And you earn in-game currency called rainbow stones to purchase clothing for your burb, furniture for your burb's room, and tickets to travel to new locations. You decide what you want to achieve in a day, and you can place items in categories or keep them uncategorized. As more time goes on, you'll be able to gain insights from your habits, identifying which ones you're really good at accomplishing and which others need more work and might need to be prioritized a little bit more. And one thing in particular that I love, you can add friends on the app. Almost immediately after downloading Finch and trying it out, I thought it could be a great way to help my daughter establish daily routines and reward her for completing tasks. We've been using it together for almost a month, and so far, we both still really like it. She has other friends from school that use it, and I've mentioned it to the team here, with some coworkers also downloading it and giving it a try. We'll be linking to a page where you can learn more about the Finch app in the episode notes. So if you're looking for a way to accomplish your to-dos while also still taking care of yourself, or you're trying to teach your child how to do that, I cannot recommend this app enough. Moving on to number 4. I don't know about you, but I would not be able to function without caffeine, and sometimes stopping for a treat from either Starbucks or Dunkin is just necessary. Or maybe you just need to switch up your order with a new seasonal limited edition flavor, and you are in luck because pumpkin spice has officially taken a backseat to peppermint mocha and its holiday friends. Wednesday marked the beginning of the holiday menu's return to Dunkin, and Starbucks hauled out the holly yesterday. While I definitely identify as a Starbucks fan, I have to say that the Dunkin' holiday cups feature super cute graphics that are very much channeling Schoolhouse Rock. Peppermint mocha everything and the toasted white chocolate signature latte are back for the season. And new offerings include the berry sangria refresher and the cookie butter cloud latte. Dunkin' refreshers can be mixed with either green tea, black tea, lemonade, or sparkling water, the latter of which is always my go-to. And then the cookie butter cloud latte pairs the creamy sweetness of a latte, topped with cookie butter cold foam and cookie crumbles. I think I would enjoy the cold foam and crumbles on a cold brew or an iced coffee, but If it's made according to the menu, I think it might be a little bit too sweet for me. Over at Starbucks, peppermint mocha returns along with toffee nut crunch and gingerbread latte. I am a huge fan of the gingerbread flavored ground coffee, so I'm very excited for all things gingerbread. New this year is the hazelnut praline mille-feuille oat milk latte, and I'm going to be honest, I'm glad I order on the app most of the time because I wouldn't want to have to say the name of that drink out loud in line, and I wouldn't want to have to add any of my customizations to it. That always sounds so precocious. Also, I am more of a cold brew fan. So if that's you as well, there are a few seasonal cold foams joining the menu: gingerbread cream, peppermint chocolate, sugar cookie cream, and caramel brulee cream. Now, if you're lucky enough to have a Dutch Bros near you, they have had their holiday menu up and running since November 1st. Returning there, the candy cane mocha, which is their version of a peppermint mocha topped with crushed candy canes. And they also brought back the hazelnut truffle mocha. New this year, the holiday cookie freeze, which blends vanilla, sweet cream, and sprinkles. And then the mistletoe rebel, which is the Dutch Bros energy drink blend mixed with raspberry and pomegranate. And fun fact, before we move on to our next topic, this week we polled our marketing team on the official start date of the holiday season. November 1st was the clear front runner, which might be a hot take to some, or just an indicator that we have a lot of holiday spirit here at Ritter. Number 3, sometimes what your brain needs is a good old-fashioned distraction. For me, this usually means scrolling through the news, which led me to a very cool AI device that I will likely be adding to my Christmas wish list, and that is the Stream Ring from Sandbar. The Ring houses a small microphone for users to speak into throughout the day, essentially creating your own voice log. It also features a button that the company calls a mouse for voice, and you hold it to speak, then tap it to pause or return to music playback and even control volume. What you dictate into the Ring is sent to the Stream app and converted into text, so you can capture thoughts on the fly and then go back to read them on the Stream app. I've always liked the idea of dictating notes, but not the idea of having to go back and listen to them or transcribe them. This combination of a wearable and an app takes a lot of friction out of that process, making a compelling and useful new tool. The price point is set at $249 for the silver ring and $299 for the gold version. The Stream app has a free tier with unlimited notes, but limited chats, and then the Pro version allows for unlimited interactions and early features for $10 a month. Each ring gets a 3-month free subscription to the Pro version to try it out. Now, this might seem like a super simple AI wearable, but I think this practical approach might find success where other AI wearables have failed. It would be nice if health monitoring benefits were included, but you have to start somewhere. So I'm very curious to see how this wearable performs when it does actually become available. I'm not sure I would jump on the pre-order, but I'm also not sure that I won't. So stay tuned. Moving on to number 2. If you are a Google Maps user, good news. There are a few updates coming to the app, one that actually took me back to a fun exercise from the technical writing class I took in college. We'll get to that in a moment. But first, Gemini AI has been more deeply integrated into the app, so navigation can now be truly hands-free. Users can ask questions and add conversational follow-up questions and get answers, all without touching your device. You'll also be able to report issues like roadwork or an accident by voice rather than tapping a display screen. That is super helpful. And the more people that are able to report those disruptions, the better the experience is for all commuters. Users will also be notified about upcoming issues, even if you're not actively navigating. This is a feature that Waze recently implemented, and I'm glad to see it coming to Google Maps as well. I enjoy having the map up on my screen, but if I'm listening to something and really trying to pay attention, I don't want turn-by-turn instructions interrupting my drive unless there's something to be really concerned about. Google Maps has also added lens capability to identify nearby landmarks and answer questions about them. And landmarks will also now play a role in the directions you'll hear while driving. So, back in my technical writing class, one of our in-class exercises was to write down directions on how to get to a destination. The exercise was designed to highlight the proper order of directions while also adding specific information rather than obtuse observations. So instead of telling someone to turn left at the tree that looks like a dinosaur, you tell them they'll see Riley's restaurant and make a right just after the restaurant. Google Maps will now do the same thing. You'll see landmarks highlighted on your map and hear the voice direction telling you to turn right after Riley's restaurant. So it follows the same pattern of order, but gives users both a visual and voice instruction. This is something I find super helpful when I'm navigating a new area because as much as I appreciate a countdown in the number of feet before a turn, 300 feet feels very different depending on the speed you're traveling at. And now, coming in at number 1 this week, make sure you're following along with our show to stay as updated as possible on what's going on in the industry. We are usually tracking quite a few different stories. One of the biggest right now, the current 38-day government shutdown, which is now the longest shutdown in the history of the United States. We are monitoring this so closely, not because we love the politics around any of this. Actively do not love that, but there are issues that affect agents and your clients. Democrats have so far held their ground on reopening the government, calling for an extension to be made on the enhanced premium tax credits set to expire at the end of 2025. Some Republicans are voicing concerns from their own constituents on the subject of subsidies. And then there are things like SNAP benefits and other government resources that are affected by the shutdown because of furloughs and a lack of funding. What I choose to focus on here is that there are people on both sides of Congress who really are trying to have conversations and find ways to compromise, even if it seems like no one wants to report on that. Earlier this week, Fierce Healthcare and Axios both reported on a bipartisan proposal that seeks a 2-year extension as well as other considerations. I won't call out the exact details of that proposal here because they will likely change between now and any sort of implementation. But I do want to quote the statement put out by the representatives who put together that proposal. Quote, "Congress is gridlocked, and too many Americans have lost faith that we can work together. But here's the truth. Democrats and Republicans can sit down, listen to one another, and find common ground, especially when it comes to lowering healthcare costs. We may not agree on every ideal outcome, but we've identified a fair, reasonable path forward on the future of the Affordable Care Act's enhanced premium tax credits. Compromise isn't rocket science, and it shouldn't be treated like a weakness." End quote. And I am going to read that one more time because of how much I like it. Quote, "Compromise isn't rocket science, and it shouldn't be treated like a weakness." End quote. The statement and proposal came from Don Bacon, Tom Suozzi, Jeff Hurd, and Josh Gottheimer, and I don't think I'm alone when I say that I hope other members of Congress are listening and willing to start those conversations. We will continue to track this story and report back with developments. Again, make sure you're following along with us for help staying upbeat and motivated, help taking a break and stepping back from things for a minute to take care of yourself, and of course, important industry updates like whether or not the subsidies will be extended for coverage year 2026. That being said, I hope you have a great weekend. Stay healthy and stay safe out there. And don't forget to take some time for yourself this weekend. You deserve it. We'll see you next week. The Agent Survival Guide podcast is a production of Ritter Insurance Marketing, an integrity company. This episode was written and produced by me, Sarah Ruppel. Script editing and fact check by Tina Lamoureux. Podcast design by Urban Rivera. Follow along with our show wherever you like to listen.